Barkley.
Here we go.
I just love Barkley saying this, by the way. Love hearing what Barkley. Charles Barkley, to leave inside the NBA, blames cancel culture. We can't even have fun anymore. Go up a little bit to read what he says. Baseball legend Charles Barkley, and decade-long TNT, and he blames cancel culture. An appearance on Washington sports radio station WJFK 106.7. The fan, Mr. Barkley, slammed as jackasses the social justice warriors who launch online attacks and even criticize his bosses and co-hosts on TNT. It's gotten so out of hand right now, I couldn't imagine having to watch myself. You can't even have fun nowadays without these jackasses trying to get you canceled and things like that. He continues to say, he's 58 years old right now. He says, I'm just having fun talking about sports. I'm trying to hang on for another couple years until I'm 60, and then they can kiss my ass. I'm only working until 60. I already told them that we can't even have fun anymore. We have had fun all these years, and now all of a sudden, in the last year and a half, everybody is trying to get everybody fired. It really sucks. Can you imagine Barkley talking about this? And I know we're going to talk about the scenes. Yo, man, be careful going in that direction. All we ever talk about behind the scenes is, yo, man, be careful going in that direction. We can't have fun anymore. We've had fun all these years, and now all of a sudden, the last year now, same thing here. So Barkley, I don't know how many Emmys he's won. I think it's 8. I don't know the number. How many Emmys has Barkley won? Can you pull it up? I think he's won 8, 9. He's won a bunch of Emmys, right? Here's a guy that's won a bunch of Emmys. He's loved, admired, probably the best guy to listen to, entertaining as hell. He keeps that show together, if you think about it. Yep. He's won 4 Emmys.
He's the glue guy.
He's the glue guy. Even Shaq says, Shaq says the face of this show is Charles Barkley. Shaq. He said the face of who holds it together is Charles Barkley, right? To say something like this. How much credence do you give to what he says right there, Tom?
I give a lot of credence, and I'll tell you why. I love Barkley. You and I had the privilege of in Dallas going to see him speak one time.
Remember? Yes.
Yep, at a college function that was there. And what's really interesting is, I think it was about 6 weeks ago, Barkley on camera, on stage, during the show, said, you know what, I'm getting tired of what these politicians are telling people to believe, because I think most black people, most white people, most Hispanic people are all good people. They're all good folks. And they're getting tied up into this thing. You remember that? He gave that little speech?
Yep.
And I thought that was so pure and so necessary for him to say, you know what, the people I see, I think everybody of all colors is basically good, and they're getting revved up by outside forces. Do we have things in America that need to be addressed? Yes. Do we have things that need to be changed? Yes. Do we have historical things that have kind of followed us around that we have a chance to get a new generation thinking differently? Yes. But right now, the majority of people are good people as we work through all those things, but they're getting revved up by the government that wants power and pitted against each other. And he's talking here, these jackasses are just trying to get you fired. It's a technique of lobbying now to get someone fired for having anything other than no opinion.
I think it's terrible what's going on with Charles Barkley. I think he, to Tom's point, I do agree with him here. Look, Charles Barkley is a personality. Even when he was playing in the NBA, he had a larger-than-life personality. He went against the grain. He said, I'm not a role model. Remember that famous commercial? Tell your kids not to listen to me. Who says that? What adult says that? So this guy's been cancelable before cancel culture was a thing, but he's maintained it for the last 30-plus years. I think something that is resonating, I mean, what side politically do you think Charles Barkley leans?
Center.
Center what?
He's probably center, period, center.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think he's more center left. I mean, he supported Doug Jones in Alabama. He supports more Democrats than he does Republicans.
Sure.
That's for sure.
Okay.
Which way do you think Bill Maher leans politically, as an example?
Center left.
Center left. Okay.
Left.
So you have there's a theme here going on here. Even me, for example, Charles Barkley, center left. Bill Maher, a little more left, but it seems like he's coming center. Me, a little more left, especially socially, fiscally, a little more right. Coming a little more center. And what's the common theme? We're all basically seeing what's happening with this wokeness and this cancel culture, and we're like, this is ridiculous. Being woke, a few years ago actually was a good thing. Meaning, I'm aware of what the hell's going on. I see what's going on. I have an opinion. I'm not just sleepwalking through life. Now woke has done a complete 180, and if you're woke, that just means you're part of this. You're canceled. You're cancel culture. Aunt Jemima, you're done. Redskins, you're done. You did this 20 years ago. You're done. Cancel. Fired. You're done. And that's a very slippery slope. And I think that's exactly what Charles Barkley is talking about here,
Yep.
is that if anything you say or anything you do is automatically cancelable and a cancelable offense, that's not America anymore.
You know what Eisenhower said in his farewell speech when he was coming out? Do you know what he said? Do you know what direction I'm going with this guy or no?
Was this the?
No? Okay. He said in his farewell
beware
speech,
the?
he says, beware of the military-industrial complex.
Yep.
Okay. And what he said about this is the following. He says, if you use the word communism to try to cancel anybody, be very careful with that. Just because somebody uses the word communism, you don't cancel them. And this started off with McCarthyism,
Yeah, exactly.
right? Which was,
that's right there you're going
hey,
with that.
I have 200 and something people, kind of like Adam Schiff saying, I have proof here.
Yeah.
That the Trump was colluding with Russia. I have proof here, right? And then there's been no proof that he ever brought up. And so this cancel culture thing is something you have to be very, very careful with. You know, Lincoln has a quote, I'll look for to read it to you, and he says the same exact thing. It is like he was talking about prohibition, where people are using prohibition to be able to arrest anybody. I mean, if you're going back and you think about these laws that we came up with, right? You go back and think about the McCarthyism was what? If you're communist, anybody that's your friend, I can come after them as well and tape them, right?
Very dark
Then that goes
period.
to RICO. What did RICO allow you to do in 1970? And RICO,
Racketeering,
but
yeah.
what RICO allowed you to do is for if he's even hanging out with you, I can record his house without even getting permission. Slippery slope. And then RICO led to Omnibus, and Omnibus led to Patriot Act. It's more control, right? Okay. Today, if you think about who's doing most of the silencing, which side of the aisle is it today?
Yeah,
It's
it
not
would
the right.
definitely be the left at this
It's
point.
the left. It's not-
Especially at universities, is that's like the big knock. What you
Number
hear
one
about
is
over there.
universities.
Yeah.
Number two is social media.
Mm-hmm.
Number three is, I mean, I can go on and on. You can't, people don't feel, everybody who said anything about the virus being man-made got canceled until Jon Stewart said it on Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, there's just
When
this
he
week.
said it on Stephen Colbert, that video went viral. Why does he go viral and Stephen Colbert doesn't get canceled? But everybody else that talked about it the last 12 months, they got canceled. You know how many videos we've been canceled? Because we had a person that said what they said. So the
Well, there's a reason for that.
which is what?
I think a lot of people are willing to listen to people that are on their team before they're willing to listen to someone on the other team telling them what's right or wrong. So if Jon Stewart, who's traditionally a liberal, no one on the right is going to listen to him, as an example, right? It's a lot of echo
John who?
chambers. Jon Stewart.
I disagree.
I think he's, what do you mean? He's a liberal, center
I
left.
always listen to Jon Stewart.
You're one of the few.
No, many people.
The point that I'm getting
Yeah.
here is a macro perspective
I
here.
actually think Jon Stewart is reasonable.
It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
I think he's
If
smart.
you're, I'll just be very clear here. It's a lot easier if you're a Democrat.
Yeah.
To convince other Democrats, hey guys, your way of thinking is a little wrong. You need to figure this out. Versus a Ted Cruz trying to convince Democrats to think a certain way. Versus a Democrat, an Adam Schiff character, or a Stephen Colbert speaking to Republicans trying to convince them. Versus a Donald Trump saying, hey guys, you got to change up how you're thinking. I think the point that I'm getting at is that you're willing to listen to someone that's on your team before someone that's not on your team. So it takes someone like a Jon Stewart to wake up the left, if you will, as to maybe the
I
virus
agree
is,
with that. I
is
think
man-made.
meaning it takes somebody from your own side to wake you
to
up.
call you out.
But I also think the reason why a lot of people were silenced the last 12 months is not because it's an opposing idea. It just doesn't fit the narrative. So if you're trying to drive a narrative, you have to silence anybody that doesn't fit the narrative, and that's what happened the last 12 months.
Look, and
So
the
and now
moves.
they're sitting there saying, well, yeah, you're right. It could be man-made. Well, we don't know. Well, who says it can't be man-made? So it's a very, very slippery slope to go in a direction like that. And I applaud. Listen, I said this yesterday. I said, walking on eggshells and cancel culture, it always eliminates the most talented, entertaining people. Barkley's the most talented, entertaining person. He steps away.
I agree.
Kevin Hart was supposed to host the damn Oscars. He's the most entertaining, funniest guy at the time. The guys were getting box office. He was making records after records after record, to the point where he tweeted something the other day. I sent him a message. He says, much love and I appreciate you. It says, congrats on the house. We were going back and forth texting each other. There are certain people that you lose. Like, we want the Ricky Gervais. We want the Bill Burrs. We want the Chappelles. We want the Kevin Harts. We want the Barkleys. But no, they offended somebody. They offended somebody. You got to be very careful, because you can't say that, God forbid, you offend somebody. And then Nickelodeon the other day posted a
Offended somebody
video
on the left.
Nickelodeon posted a video the other day trying to please the transgender community. You saw the numbers with Nickelodeon? Did you see what happened with Nickelodeon's number after that ad that went out?
I'm sure it plummeted.
Oh, it's not even plummeted. Yeah. It's catastrophic. Catastrophic, because transgender is not a democratic thing. Some Democrats are sitting behind closed doors like, listen, I'm not like, why are you putting that in my kid's face? If you support it, but this is Nickelodeon. What are we doing here? Oh, to try to please a small percent. What percentage of America is transgender?
Like 1%.
It's not even 1%. Yeah. No, it's probably 1% of 1%. Right. So to try to please the 1% of 1%, but you throw the other 44% under the bus, and you lose that audience. Sense. It's not only, it just doesn't make sense. It's not even a good business model to do that. There's nothing about it that makes any sense.
Did you see that video of, it was a family asking, hey, would you take a picture of us? And they give a camera to just a random guy, and it's like a family of 5. And he goes, okay, say cheese. And they, excuse me, I'm actually a vegan. I don't do cheese. Okay, so we won't say cheese. All right, everybody smile. Well, I'm actually depressed right now, so I'm not willing to smile. And basically every family member has an excuse as why they couldn't take the picture. And it just started with say cheese.
And this poor guy is like,
he's like, dude,
do you want me to take a picture?
I'm out. So
I'm sorry, here's your camera back.
Yeah, I mean, listen, more power to Barkley. In 2 years, we're going to lose him. Enjoy the guy for 2 years.
Well, I think
he steps away.
It's fair to say, Chuck, I know you're a big fan of the podcast. You have a seat here to my right. Tom will have to sit this one out. But anytime that Charles Barkley wants to come on, we'll have to bring him on.
I'm a guest here, and I appreciate it. But I would love to sit back and watch Sir Charles on this program.
All right.
Period.
Hey, so if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.